itself and a lot more across the world in there. Now, sports during the weekend, of course, with interesting ones, and during this weekend we shall be having the Champions League coming back on action. So it's one of the biggest one that people will be expecting. Owen Izaga is my name, your host tonight, and of course I have Benson Pastorio, whom we shall be discussing 2 or 3, 4, 5 things that are happening right here. Now, one of the biggest in off the script happens to be, of course, just a few minutes ago, the draws for the Kopo Pa Min Obimo 2023 was officially, of course, taken place right. It was at that either today, as of course they made the draws. Now this time around it's going to start with the ladies, of course, who will also be part of this, to be that they will be participating. You know, we have ever brought you the Copa Obimo, that has always been right here, organized by, that is the Aluru Kingdom, that has come through right there. I was just talking to Sam Kumakech, the of course in charge, or the man who was elected to take on this. He did confirm to me, yes, it's true, it happened, and of course this was behind closed doors, where of course journalists were not called and to participate in there, but of course we are able so this is groups like in Group A you have names like Okoro, and then of course Group B. Group B, you also have names like the Alur DRC, who will also be participating, and then the Jonamu are also in this team, as Padieri 2 also happens to be right there. So those are some of the things happening right there. But of course a lot in the history, as of course histories were written yesterday, as at the same time you did see Ugandan games going on. Match day 1 over the start time Uganda Premier League still continued, with of course Royal Sports Club savaging into the hands of course, or suffering the hands of Busoga right there. Benson, good afternoon.
Not forgetting about the viewers who are watching us at this. A lot of stories are happening in the world of sports, and that's happened over the weekend. And you have already started giving some of the things which happened over the weekend in the Start Times Uganda Premier League. What was your weekend's
biggest activity, sports activity, that you felt was maybe the top?
Yeah, it's just football, and we have seen some of the big teams scoring goals for fun, others losing. Maybe it's because the UEFA Champions League is coming on the way. Manchester United losing into the hands of a certain Brighton and Hove Albion, and also in Serie A, we saw after a very long period of time the team of AS Roma scoring 7 past Empoli. So many teams actually dropping points over the weekend in their various domestic leagues, and the biggest of it is, as you said, the return of the UEFA Champions League, which is kick-starting tomorrow. And also in the Start Times Uganda Premier League, the home teams, they all failed to win their games. The best they could do was only to get a draw.
All roads will be at Allianz Arena come tomorrow. That's when Manchester United will be taking on the team of Bayern Munich. So all roads at Allianz Arena. We shall be discussing that more tomorrow, and of course a few of those games that will be coming right there. Now let's start with the top story coming up from our script over tonight, where of course it is one of the biggest, as Uganda Premier League kick-started right there. Let's start with the neck, which we discussed, of course, on how exactly they moved in there. I think games that were in round 1 went on. We already discussed. Let's come to, that is the game that was played at West Nile in Paradis Stadium, where of course West Nile's only start time Uganda Premier League club, Royal Sports Club, of course, lost to, that is the team of Busoga in a very, very decent manner.
Yeah, starting the season with a defeat is something which acts as a bad omen for the team of Royal Sports Club. We all understand the stress on they're undergoing right now, playing away from home, and at the same time you sold so many players and you have limited players. Yeah, if you have in the squad depth, sometimes the quality in the team also has to matter. And if you take a look at the team that started for the team of Royal Sports Club, you will see that there are so many guys who are not yet known to the so many fans of Royal Sports Club. And Busoga, I thought that the best they were going to, the worst for them in that game was going to be a draw, because they are the home side first, and the second thing is Busoga, the last 2 seasons, they have always been fighting to see that they they avoid the relegation. This is a team that fought together with teams like Blacks Power on the Paraka before they survived the relegation. And the Royal Sports Club being the home side, I thought that they were going to at least put something like a draw as a win in the game, but I was also surprised to see that Busoga away and coming to the home of Royal Sports Club, just edging them by a goal to nil. As I said, to me, I looked at the two things. First of all, being away from their original stadium, away from Barfa Stadium, and at the same time losing a lot of players. And Royal Sports Club of late, they have been a devastated side in so many things. First of all, they need to work on so many things, and losing so many, more especially the 70% of their starters, the starters of last season. To me, you look at the players that started for the team of Royal Sports Club, trust me, only a few players that have been known to the fans of Royal Sports Club. That defeat, of course, they will need to bounce back in the upcoming game. Only one game being played, that one doesn't mean that they're a very weak team. But the journey started yesterday. If they will continue with such kind of performance, it will be miserable for them. But we hope that they will be bouncing back after that defeat into the hands of Busoga.
It was really a very big one. Ruahel got a goal through, the Busoga got a goal through their captain, and of course that showed them that this is the way. It was, of course, the team. Now, Ruahel itself looked an average team. Some names that they have never unveiled included Kalanda, who, of course, they got in there. The sharp number 9 is in their books, in the names of Kalanda. Now, that's one big thing that we could talk about right there. Some names, some players, you would not see any bulliness in the team. You would see that the club is average. Are we seeing Ruahel maintaining this before I give you maybe their next games that are coming in there? We shall talk about the next games that are coming. But of course, starting on such a bad note means a lot to a club like a Royal Sports Club. Yeah,
it's true, starting with the defeat against not only Star Times Uganda Premier League, also against a team, an average team. Like I said, a team that has always been battling to see that they avoid the relegation, and they were away from home. And as I said, a Royal Sports Club currently, they are fighting so many things. First of all, they will not need to finish the whole of the season at Paridi because they have so many fans this side of Arua City and districts neighboring Arua City. And at the same time, you look at the quality of the players, like you said. To me, the quality of the players, they are so alarming. Or you look at the defense line, almost the starters for Arua Sports Club in the last 2 seasons, the likes of Bright Vone, Permer Saka leaving them, or the only player whom I saw is the last 2 seasons has always been a starter for Royal Sports Club. In defense line was only Atendele Gerga, and also in the midfield, so many boys have parted ways with the Royal Sports Club. You look at the attacking force, almost the entire Amigos, they have left the team of Royal Sports Club. Coming to the question you put to me, whether they will be in position to survive, like I said, this is the starting point.
Not a relegation, but they were in the Super 8 and they couldn't really participate. This time round, are we seeing them finish where they finished last season? It's just one game anyway.
One game, yeah.
Looking at how they've played.
The journey has started. The journey has started. You lose into the hands of a team, at the starting point. All the other teams will also start to eye you, given the fact that last season they have been one of the teams giving headaches to the most of the teams in the Star Times Uganda Premier League. Some of the teams, of course, will be having that positive ideology, that mentality, of course. So many players, key players, of course, they have left the club. That means it's weak. That's what some of the clubs are expecting at the moment. And also the second thing is losing the first game against an average team, a team that was fighting for relegation last season. Of course, it's going to alarm the rest of the teams to see that they can be in position to pick anything against a Royal Sports Club, unless still the summer transfer window in Africa, particularly in Uganda, is still open, unless they go out to the market and they get key players, not only players, but key players, iconic players that can be able to change things for the team of Royal Sports Club. Otherwise, if they only remain with that squad, I don't see them going very far. They may even be one of the candidates fighting for relegation this season.
It is only, that is a Royal Sports Club, of course, who needed to really make sure things work out. But of course, it was not their day to see that it worked out at Paridi Stadium. Now, only it took Doka Muire to make sure that the team got themselves in the right way. Muire is the captain of the team of Busoga United. Of course, Busoga got that early goal in the first half, and of course capitalized on that to make sure that they really needed to defend the game until the last moment. So it meant very big for that is the team of Busoga, starting on a good note so far. Remember last season they walloped Arua Hill 4-1 right here at Barifa Stadium, and that's one big thing that you really as a football fan keep following. I did see on their official page, of course, even the club chairman coming to say no, but they beat us at home the other time at Barifa. You talked about Arua Hill coming back to Barifa. Okay, me, I'm looking at it. It's going to be a little bit tricky for them to come back to Barifa, because it will take a lot of money for them to make sure that they fix that back too. In the crisis they are right now, it's also so challenging that the team may not be able to make sure that they come. Yes, the crises are taking them so deep. Let's look at the signings. You would say maybe we have not seen others, but when you look at the bench, who was the person whom you could see could change the team of Arua Hill Sports Club was very hard.
Exactly.
Those days you would see, okay, Kachanchu will come in and change, maybe Alan Mugalu will come in and change, maybe you have other names like Ivan Yam who would come in, or Gamaduka, you would say yes.
Isaac Ogwang.
But this time around they're not there. You would see that barely the key figure, or out of that the boys who remained, starter is the captain who has now been given the captainship, Wahab Thiago Alcantara. He was home, of course he had to captain the team and make sure, but of course it should be, I think, official. He's the man of that is the captain of the team this time around. You have Atendele Geriga, who was also into the team, of course tried pushing in right there. He performed his part, but of course you don't want to see in there. I saw a player called the Swadik. Yes, he was there. And Nathan Oloro started the game. He played for Nduparaka Football Club last season, but of course he was even withdrawn before the games went so far. So the Swadik was introduced into the game to make sure that he changed the looks. All in all, you would say that Arua Hill Sports Club needed really a game changer, but of course things that did not work. Though at the last moment they brought in a lot of pressure but couldn't convert. I saw Mpande, the likes of Mpande being brought into the game, but of course at last it didn't work out. So it is one of the biggest things that happened in there. The Busoga United came so good, making sure that they needed to get that goal. Remember, Busoga itself as a province lost at Paridi Stadium. It was a slender 1-0, 2-1 victory, which of course now this maybe gives them a zeal. So it is one big thing, but I want to say Arua Hill shouldn't even come back this side to me, because the fan base that was at Jumani was really overwhelming, better than the one at Barifa Stadium, and that way there's no fight that they're going to be having with any other club that side. Juman Town Council is yet relegated, so they will also have to fight their way to come back. But of course I think the number that was there yesterday is big, and that gives me addition that Arua Hill Sports Club will make money there, just like I said before.
And I should agree with you. Arua Hill Sports Club coming back to their original home stadium, that's a Barifa. They should not do that one at this moment, because
they should not totally do, but it's upon them. But according to our thinking,
because first of all, for them to return to Barifa, it's going to cost a lot, and at the same time, it's going to pile pressure on them, because you need to honor these games. At the same time, you also need to work on the pitch. So they just need to acclimatize with the weather at Paridi. Maybe they finish the whole of the season at Paridi. As they are playing these games at Paridi, they should keep on processing the other stadium renovation at Barifa. And also about the squad, as we said, the squad is full of yet unknown players to the squad is full of unknown players to most of the fans of Arua Hill Sports Club. What does it mean? It means Mbabazi needs time, and he's yet working with these boys, working with these guys to see how he can be able to draft his squad, and how long is he going to assemble the team is also another thing I'm looking at. You cannot say that for around 5 to 6 matches you will keep on picking defeats here and there, playing draws. I'm not meaning that in the upcoming games of Arua Hill Sports Club they are going to pick defeats or as draws. In case it happens like that, to me currently Mbabazi, the whole technical team is still assembling the team, how these boys can be able to fit into their system, because as we said, the squad is full of new players, And how long are you going to drop the team? How long are you going to assemble the team when the rest of the teams will keep on winning games? So Arua Hill right now, they are still restructuring themselves. They are still reestablishing themselves in the pitch. That's what I can say.
Yes, average players. I just want to put it simple. Average players is what Arua Hill has, and that's one thing that is there. Now I want to give you the next fixtures and judge Arua Hill's next 5 games that will be coming right there after this game of the starter. Whether days, that's why I asked you whether it is going to be very possible for Arua Hill Sports Club to dominate this moment and make sure that things work out. One, Arua Hill Sports Club after here will travel away to St. Mary's Chitende, to the home of Vipers Sports Club, and that is where they are going next. This is the Vipers that got a win yesterday. Then next, they will have to come to Paridi Stadium to play against a team that has never lost to most of the West Nile clubs in their home. It was only I think, to Nduparaka when Bull Football Club lost, and Bull is the team that you're seeing so rejuvenated right now. So they are coming to Bull at home, and that's going to be also another one. Now they will still welcome Gaddafi at home, a team that they can beat. You can say Gaddafi is coming at home. Of course, that also, you shouldn't underestimate a team like Gaddafi. You shouldn't underestimate a team that is there. Of course, even Arua Hill, teams shouldn't underestimate, because on a good day they will kill you. But of course, I think if Kalanda starts what he was doing long time at maybe Express, maybe that's when he will be putting it right. I've given you 3 games already. 4th one is Mbarara City. They will have to travel to Kacheka Stadium, a place people rarely get wind to. That means Mbabas is going to his former employees at Kacheka Stadium in Mbarara. It has never been easy for any West Nile team at Mbarara, at Kacheka Stadium. Worse still when it rains. You'll always know the best of Mbarara. Then after Mbarara City, you have KCCA Football Club. That will be another game for, that is Arua Hill Sports Club. The 5 games after this are that. That meant 6 games that they will be playing. You have possibilities of maybe 1. If the play of yesterday continues, that means you have like 1 possibility. But of course, it is coming back to now the drawing board of Arua Hill Sports Club. Charles Livingston Babazi, how are we coming for this game?
You look at the upcoming fixtures. You have got Vipers after losing the CAF Champions League. The focus turns to the domestic league, both the Stanbic Uganda Cup and the Star Times Uganda Premier League. We saw that one yesterday, beginning the season with a win against Gaddafi. You have got a certain Bull, like you have said, a very rejuvenated side. They will not want to lose the game at the initial stages. And Gaddafi knows that yesterday they consoled themselves with a goal up against Gaddafi. So these games, to me, they look to be very tricky for the team of Arua Hill Sports Club. Trust me, in Ugandan football, not only in Ugandan football, all over the world, even if you are one of the biggest sides, once at the initial stages at the beginning of the season like this, and I've always been saying this one, the beginning of season is always something not easy. Any team can beat you because you have not tested the strength of the other one before. And if Arua Hill Sports Club, maybe the first one they lost yesterday, in case they are beaten by a certain Vipers and again they lose into the hands of Darcy Bull FC, maybe they lose 3 or 4 games consecutively, all the eyes are going to be set on Arua Hill Sports Club. Let me give you an example with on the Paraka Football Club, clubs like Blacks Power that got relegated, even Busoga, not forgetting about UPDF. For UPDF and Busoga to have survived the relegation last season, and after Arua Hill and Blacks Power losing games consecutively like that, it became very difficult for them to pick results, even against teams that are of their strength. It became very difficult for them. So Arua Hill Sports Club, what am I trying to say here? Let me put it short in summary. Arua Hill Sports Club, they should avoid losing games consecutively like a 4 or 5. If that one happens, the rest of the teams, they are going to say that they can be able to pick anything like a win against Arua Hill Sports Club.
As I talk, the ball is now into the hands of Arua Hill Sports Club. Yes, now the coach just needs to know where the weaknesses were yesterday, where he needs to adjust. If you're to add more names into the team, this transfer goes up to 21st of this very month. That's when transfers are closing, tighten those loopholes. I saw the midfield was so exposed there yesterday. That's how exactly the team was penetrating through to make sure that they go through. and that is one thing. So 1-0 was a bad one for them in a home game. But of course, you had Vipers that also beat Team Gaddafi by 2-1. Vipers got a goal through also Milton Carissa, still coming back to score goals. You remember he was the best player for Vipers last season, and this time he's also doing the same. So 2 goals, and of course Carissa and Ekbad. But of course, you did also see an equalizer from Muhindo, who got that for the team of Gaddafi yesterday. Now that's how exactly the teams have gotten themselves into the play. Vipers getting the win yet again.
Vipers, knowing that the last few years they have actually been dominating the Star Times Uganda Premier League title, they have mastered it so much. The challenge they have ever been having of late is how they can be able to raise the flag or raise the boots of the players in CAF Champions League, which they have failed for several times. But coming to the local league, the domestic league, they are capable of doing that one. But this time, they know that they are going to have a lot of steep competitors like Sports Club Villa. They're starting the season with a defeat into the hands of Chitara, but they are still a very strong side. You have got a certain case here. Oh, and the other result which actually surprised me so much was that barren draw between UPDF and the URA with some of the top-notch players like Tezikwe. You talk about Moses Alirwe, and given the fact that UPDF, one of the relegation candidates last season, I thought that URA was going to put something like a win against the team UPDF, but it also ended in a barren draw.
Yeah, it's really things happen. Of course, not only getting into a move, UPDF needs really to do a lot. The NEC team has come so well and of course put a lot. This is still a forces team that is from the forces, so you will see that there's going to be a lot of competition and a stiff one that will be coming every time this happens. But of course, I think it is just because UPDF also had some few names that they lost and got in. The Bright Vuniz went back to UPDF, and all that is happening right there. So I think it's just a matter of getting the time and concentrate. Always starting the game is a hard one, but leaving that there. Wachiso Giants also lost to Maroons by 3-0. Maroons right now top the table after scoring 3 past Wachiso Giants without a reply in there unanswered. So those are some of the games, and probably I want to say Ojok was the man of the match for that game because he scored 2 goals. He made himself very comfortable, making sure that these games went on right there. Bull had beaten Bright Star 1-0. Mara City lost to NEC 1-0 at their own home at Kacheka. As Villa, of course, lost to Chitara Football Club after new entrants have also done very well into the Star Times Uganda Premier League kickstart match day 1 right there. That was the roundup of these games. Now let's cross away from there and look at some of course, the big actions that probably right there now. New signings are still going on. I did tell you 21st is what is going to be, of course, making the deadline there for that is Ugandan transfer. Now Kachanchu is the player I'm talking about. He was with Arua Hill Sports Club right there last season and had everything, but of course could not get enough play time according to him. Now he crosses over to Police Football Club, a FUFA big league entity that will be looking forward to see that they need to bounce back into the Star Time Uganda Premier League. They have invested a lot, and Kachanchu happens to be their 13th signing of the season. Your take on that? Just
like URA that have also unveiled over 13 players, that means in average Police and the team URA, they have been very active, one of the active teams we have from the country of Uganda that have been so busy in the ongoing summer transfer window. Speaking about the player, and it's a bad one for the team of Arua Hill Sports Club because this is a crucial moment whereby I expect them to retain some of the key players. Still coming to the closing edges, they are still losing players, but good one for the team of Police FC. They came close last season attaining promotion to the Star Times Uganda Premier League. They failed, but this time they think that they need to go to the top tier of Ugandan football. That one doesn't come automatic. It comes with a lot of preparation. That's why we have seen them signing players for fun, and this player alone of course will bring a lot of influence in the team of Police FC. By the way, one player can change the whole team. It's all about bringing a key player, a player that can be able to solve a problem in that particular department. Then you construct the rest of the teams around that particular player. This player having that experience of playing in the top tier of Ugandan football. Police also been there before. I know this player will do a lot for the team of Police FC, but it will be a turning moment for the team of Arua Hill Sports Club.
Now, reports have it a lot and rumored that, of course, the former Uganda Cranes player David Oboa is set to be announced as the URA head coach to be. Would he add something into the books of URA that you said is struggling?
For me, it's amazing news. You look at this particular player, he has just finished his coaching course, not within the country, away from the country of Uganda, that side of Northern Ireland. Looking at how he has been performing for Uganda Cranes, he has actually been a very good player and also doing a lot of tremendous jobs for the clubs he had played for, and also going to play in Scotland. And he's very ambitious. And this is a coach rather who has just finished the coaching course. I remember it was in March, and currently working as assistant coach to the team of Maroons. If he comes to that URA with the signings, URA, they have had, I think, Oboa alone. Not only that, the coaching role he has attained, the coaching course he has attained, and also his CV for Uganda Cranes and the clubs he has been playing for. I know this coach alone will bring a lot of things for the team of URA.
What do you remember Oboa for?
Oboa, I remember Oboa for being a regular goal scorer for the team of Uganda Cranes, and always a starter. And at the same time, by the time he was playing, by then we had a few Ugandan players that were playing outside and playing for Scotland, playing in Scottish Premiership for a team called Hearts. Hearts, by the way, is one of the biggest clubs we have in Scotland. That's what I remember Oboa for.
Two things I remember him for. One, missing the Hearts game when he was a player after his visa expired, or the passport expired. Two is when he vowed not to play for Uganda national team unless the man by the names of Lawrence Mulindwa leaves the FUFA room office, and of course by then was Bobby Williamson. If they leave, then he would play, and up to now he has never played for the country anymore.
And
so
he retired.
He retired. That is him. Principled, and I think a very good one for him. But of course, I think adding him into the books of URA, yes, it would be a very good one. Not only URA, very many clubs wanted these services, but of course, I've loved the way that he came with his paper, still went under, that is Maroons Football Club. Very many are learning from him. That's why maybe you could say Maroons Football Club is doing very well, because he was a goal poacher. He tells you what exactly you need to do to score goals and to make sure things work out right there. So those are some of the things in there. But of course, I think it is just a rumor that is coming in there. Anytime you could see him sign a contract with that is URA as the head coach of URA Football Club. Now we shall be expecting a lot that will be coming up right there